Non-crime hate incidents, they're very, very controversial. Now, this is what happens. So I'm walking down the street, I see you, and I decide you've said something racist to me or homophobic or something, and I phone the police and say, this bloke with glasses and a beard, you know, just called me a nasty name. And they go, do you know who it was? You go, no. Where was it? So they take down the address, they take down my name, and they record a non-crime hate incident. It's absolutely pointless. It's just it's like, as you were saying before, it's some kind of weird control thing. They say they're monitoring the public to see signs of potential future crime. You know, come off it. It's like the Minority Report, isn't it, or something? Anyway, they've been doing this now for years. And more and more, you know, when she was Home Secretary, Suella Braverman said this has got to stop. All the chief police officers just ignored her. They like it. They kind of like it, most of them anyway. So it's carrying on. There's a new report out now saying it must stop. This echoes the feeling of Manchester Police Chief Paul Watson, who has issued an urgent call for this to stop. The new report calls this recording of non-hate incidents absurd. Now, while the Rozzers disastrously fail on the crime-fighting front, they waste time on non-crime. So if you want a crime solved, a crime investigated, forget about it. But meanwhile, the coppers are too busy writing down non-crime hate incidents. As I said earlier, as ludicrous as it is sinister. Got to stop, right?
It's got to stop, because it's really about focusing on thought. And if you have multicultural chaos to the extent that we have, what they're trying to do is impose some kind of control over the whole thing, and you just have to impose layer upon layer upon layer of rules and regulations to try and make the damn thing work. But of course it can't work. The whole system is just broken. So they're imposing, they're thinking about thought, and they really don't care about crime. They've let it go. I was just looking at some data before, sentencing data from the end of 2024, taking one place, Durham and Darlington. Well over 7,000 offences, only 1,500 of those resulted in charges, let alone kind of convictions. Only 1,500 resulted in charges.
Exactly.
Now that's Durham, for God's sake. Imagine what it's like in central London. Yeah. So I mean, we've all seen that. How many people get their phones stolen every week? It's millions of people. I was in Waitrose in central London just a couple of weeks ago, and so someone was just blatantly stealing stuff off the shelves and walking away with it. Now, and because he knew that nothing would happen to him. All of this stuff has a knock-on effect, and on top of that, this kind of controlling, Big Brother is watching you. If you tweet something a bit fruity, Kev, they'll be round at your front door.
That's right.
Our mutual friend, Alison Pearson, that happened to her. You know, it just brings you down, and that's part of what they want to do. They just want to control you. They want you under the thumb, because they have to keep a lid on all of this stuff. And what happens is, the payoff is that they don't bother with the people who are the petty criminals and the crimes up to a certain level, because it's actually a certain kind of person who mostly is committing those crimes, and they don't want them in the crime stats.
It's worrying how many police chiefs, chief constables, actually love all this. The guy in Essex is an absolute zealot for it. Paul Watson, as I say, in Manchester, an honourable exception to the rule. He thinks it's absurd, a waste of time. Now, usually these non-crime hate incidents, as I say, the word, the clue is in the word. Look, if it's not a crime, it should be nothing to do with the police. End of.
I would have thought so.
Yeah, if it's not a crime, it's not the police's business. So there they are, wasting their time with something that's not a crime, a non-crime hate incident. And these non-crime hate incidents, what we're really talking about here is woke policing, because most of these non-crime hate incidents are linked to alleged racist or homophobic behaviour. It's wokery. wokery in all its awfulness. That's what it's all about. And, you know, the Tory government seemed to be edging towards possibly persuading coppers to stop from doing this. But Labour, of course, are probably very much... In fact, Yvette Cooper recently said she was a big fan of it. So on we go. And as you quite rightly say, get your car nicked, get beaten up in the street, get your bike nicked, get burgled, all sorts of crimes. Police won't even bother to even look at it. They don't solve that. They're too busy recording non-crime hate incidents, which would explain, Philip, why 25% of all coppers, 1 in 4 coppers all over the country, never ever leave the police station. 25% of cops completely stay in the police station doing this kind of bureaucratic claptrap, which, as I say, is ludicrous, absurd, but also very sinister.
It's insane. That's such an insane statistic. But the key thing is they're doing precisely the wrong thing. What they should be doing is focusing on the minutiae, focusing on crime in cities, because then people will feel safer. They will populate the cities. It will be civil. That whole idea of civility, the whole idea of community comes from safety, okay? People need to feel safe, and that's what the police are supposed to do. Well, not only that, we've got all the examples of the Democrat-run cities in America. Look at the state of them. Look, I mean, you and I are both very familiar with Los Angeles, for example. Okay.
Yeah.
20 odd years ago, that was an amazing place. I don't care what anyone says. Los Angeles was an amazing.
That's when I was living there. It was, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was there. I was researching at the time. It's a terrible place, and all of San Francisco is a terrible, filthy, and dangerous, and all of things, because people are because the authorities are interested in thought, they're interested in woke. They are not interested in crimes. If you let people commit crimes, they will commit crimes. People won't feel safe, and society will crumble. That's the
what's happening in the American cities is the decline of policing. They're changing laws. So, for example, in LA, they changed the law so that the police, they decriminalized vagrancy, so that the police now have no legal right to move homeless people on. Now, I'm not calling for a big sort of crackdown on homeless people, poor them. But the point is that they have now populated the first 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks of Santa Monica down by the coast, and they're basically camping on $1 million homes' driveways, and the police can do nothing about it. So that's where you get this decline. The Labour Party is proposing something similar. Angela Rayner wants to get rid of the vagrancy law. Now, you think, well, yeah, the vagrancy law is ridiculous. You can't demonise people just because they're homeless. I agree with that, nor should you. But the presence of the vagrancy law allows the police, in certain circumstances, if they want to move homeless people on. If you take away that law, the police won't be able to do that. And that's coming to a country near you, as in Britain, thanks to Angela Rayner. And that is exactly what's gone wrong in the American cities, that the police can no longer move on homeless people. So great cities like LA, San Francisco, New York are turning into tent cities. It's mad. It's mad.
You know, you can... I'm just thinking about what's happening in this country, and if you can't go into a shop without stepping over somebody or, you know, circumventing a tent, then we are in real trouble. And it's all about choice. The police have the choice to be able to move those people on, and that's why the Vacancy Act is there. Once you have no choice with that, you lose control. And everything we've talked about tonight, actually, all of these stories in one way, shape or form are about losing control. And that's what's happening with this country. That's why reform are resurgent, and that's why we need real change, because we need to regain control. It's not just the borders, it's the cities, it's schools, it's universities.
Yeah, we're in a total state of decline. I totally agree with you. And the policing decline is representative of the general decline.